Hey, good afternoon. I have a great show planned for you today. You're listening to the Focal Point Show on Tan Talk 1340. I am Gil Pinney, your host, and we're only 2 days away from the fall season and just 9 days from the end of the third quarter. So I hope you're ahead of your plan and you know exactly why you are or why you're not and how to continue for the balance of the year. If not, please listen to this broadcast as we'll give you some great marketing information to make your business grow. As I said, I'm your Focal Point business coach. I focus on you so that your business can grow without requiring more time from your already hectic schedule. This is the show for improving your business performance. This is a unique and one-of-a-kind radio program for Tampa Bay and the state of Florida. Today we have with us Jamie Limbaugh. Jamie is a branding and print media expert. He knows the critical items that make your brand memorable in the mind of the customer. This branding information is useful for franchises and family businesses. Please welcome Jamie.
Thanks for having me, Gil.
Hey, it's going to be fun. Jamie's a great guy. We're going to have some really good conversation. We want you to be part of the broadcast, though, and get your questions answered by a real professional and an expert in this field. We are glad you're listening, but we'd also like your thoughts and questions. Please give us a call at 727-441-3000. Send a tweet at PinneyG, or send me an email at gilpinney@yahoo.com. This is the best way for you to gain clarity for your particular problem, and we really thrive on your participation. So much for an introduction. How many people out there watch those NIU Huskies almost get through to those Ohio State Buckeyes and kick their patootie? That was fun. It was a great game. The more important part, though, of watching college football over the weekend were the Dr. Pepper commercials with Larry the soda guy. And at the end of the commercial, he asked the referee, "Do you think this ball has enough air?" And he's squishing the ball. And obviously he's making fools out of the NFL in the case against Tom Brady. And I think that really rings true, because does anybody really think that the football can make a better quarterback? Last week we spoke about two equivalent golfers who wanted to become more competitive. One chose to buy new equipment, or inflate the football especially, and the other chose to get a coach. Well, in golf and in football, you can have the best equipment in the world, or you can have your football inflated perfectly. But if you have not been coached on the fundamentals and proper execution, you will not be successful. So as your business coach, we work on those fundamentals of your business, how to generate leads, convert those leads, keep customer satisfaction high, and beat your competitor. So as your Focal Point business coach, we provide you with a money-back guarantee, so you have minimal risk, and I work with you to identify your strengths and opportunities and set achievable goals and teach you how to track your progress and motivate you to make the best of your business. So keep those feelings of how your accomplishments feel, and you'll enjoy both your life and your business a little more. I'd like to remind you about the Transform Your Business workshop that we have coming up next week, September 29th. Tomorrow is the last day to register, so please get going on that. The workshop is for 8 weeks. It starts September 29th, as I said, and will be finished on November 17th. And it will get you in position to finish off the 2015 season well and get you moving to do better in 2016. So it'll be at 6 p.m. Beginning that on September 29th. And go to Eventbrite. Just look up Transform Your Business on the Eventbrite site. You'll be able to sign up, and you'll get your tickets, and everything will work out well, and we'll see you at Office 101 when that's time. Further reminder, we have more announcements here than I care to think about. But anyway, another reminder is the elevator speech contest we have going at the top of the morning, Oldsmar Toastmasters Club. We had our first round last week. It was very fun listening to all the elevator pitches that we had. The next round will be next week, September 30th, and then we'll have the final round on October 7th. Remember, you'll get the ability to claim that you're the best in the Bay with respect to an elevator pitch, along with some gift cards to Panera, Starbucks, and some other items that you can win. So great opportunity for everyone. Please check that out. That's also on Eventbrite. So, or go to the Toastmasters Facebook page, Oldsmar Top of the Morning Toastmasters, and you'll be able to sign up for that event. And last but not least, I've been asked to talk about the Suncoast Business Expo. That's being held on September 24th. It'll be at the Hilton at Lake Carillon. It starts at 8 o'clock in the morning. Nobody says you have to be there all day because it doesn't close till 7 o'clock at night. It's being put on by CPA Partners, Kristen Hafferty, and they always do a great job. There will be workshops there throughout the day, and there's quite a bit you can learn. Plus, you can meet some new people and practice your networking skills. So let's see how we're doing with our guest and get him on board. The words brand and branding are used usually when we're thinking about it for major brands like Ford, Tide, Coca-Cola. Today, everyone and every business needs to have a brand that identifies who and what they're all about. A brand is not just a logo. It's what people think and say about you and your business when you're not there. To give us a better insight about branding, along with the print media side of the advertising portion, is Jamie Limbaugh. Before we start, I want to give you his contact information, so get your pen and pencil out. And his phone number is 888-815-0524, extension 303, And his email is Jamie, Jamie, at IQ Brand Media. That's IQBrandmedia.com. So now you can get in contact with him. He's going to be speaking here shortly and for a while. And please let us know that you need his services, and he'll be glad to help you. So, Jamie, tell us a little bit about you and how your career led you to where you're at today, the successful man you are.
Thanks, Gil. Well, I started out in the printing business about 10 years ago, and I started in the printing business where we applied our marketing knowledge to graphic designs and things that we did, and we kind of did it backwards back then. Most everyone did. They would figure out what they wanted printed, and then they would start on the design. You know, I need a brochure, so let's get started on the design of this brochure, or I need business cards, let's get started on that. And as a printing company, that's pretty much how we helped them as it came up. But we started realizing that if we started getting more into the branding side of things and the development preemptively before they started printing, then it would be a lot better for them and us as far as, you know, making it a more precise message throughout. So typically we do get started with a logo because that is the image of the brand. But we also, we can't really brand somebody without knowing a lot about their business and the business owner and how they got where they are, whether they're just getting started, why they're starting the business. So we ask a lot of questions that help us develop and get into really creating something that's going to let their target market know their story by heart. You know, what it is they do and how they do it and why they do it and why they want them to do it for them. And even more importantly, why is it worth paying them to do it?
That's very cool. It sounds like from an outsider's point of view, you do a lot of pre-work that people really don't think about when they're going into, like having a business card, creating a promotional flyer, or something like that. They don't see the need to work it all out ahead of time. So when we come back from break, we'll move forward with that particular part of the conversation, and we're ready to go to break. Thank you.
Well, I took a walk around the world to ease my troubled mind. I left my body lying somewhere in the sands of time. But I watched the world float to the dark side of the moon. I feel there's nothing I can do.
Arr, org meaty. When it's time for lunch, when it's time for dinner, when the show's over, when the day's over, when it's time to chill, where do we go? Over to Naughty Nancy's Food Shack and Crow's Nest Pub. It's literally in our backyard, right in back of the WTAN studios at 700 Eldridge Street, just north of downtown Clearwater. Just look for the broadcast tower. Nancy's food and atmosphere get rave reviews. The laid-back patio is a great place to hang out, dine, and listen to live music at night. And Nancy's one of the friendliest proprietors in town. And now, Nancy is serving Sunday Jazz Brunch from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Brunch served with Eggs Benedict, crepes, waffles, lox and bagels, shrimp, oysters, and a build-your-own omelet. That's all at Naughty Nancy's Food Shack and Crow's Nest Pub, 700 Eldridge Street in Clearwater. That's right where Eldridge crosses the Pinellas Trail between Myrtle and Fort Harrison. Call 446-3717. 446-3717. You're listening to the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Let's go bowling!
Let's Go Bowling, heard on the Tan Talk Radio Network every Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 12 Eastern Time. Sponsored by 12 Strike and Innovative Ball Spinner. If you bowl, if you haven't bowled in a while, or if you never bowled, why don't you be one of 65 million people have bowled last year? Listen to the Tip of the Week. Bowling stars, old and new. Let's Go Bowling Show, gobowlingshow.com.
Go yard is a metaphor used in baseball, meaning to hit a home run. Life struggles can make you feel like you just struck out. It's times like these that we need a little batting practice to pick ourselves back up and get back in the game. Whether you are dealing with marital issues, drug addiction, rebellious teens, anxiety, depression, or just generally having a bad day, call Mama Mac. If life has you down 0-2, before you strike out, learn to go yard. Go yard with Mama Mac on this radio station, Thursdays, 6 o'clock.
Did you know there's a sprawling botanical paradise right in your own backyard? Come visit Sunken Gardens. Located at 1825 4th Street North, it's St. Petersburg's oldest living museum. This 100-year-old garden is home to some of the oldest tropical plants in the region. Unwind as you stroll through meandering paths, lush with exotic plants from around the world. Explore cascading waterfalls, beautiful demonstration gardens, and more than 50,000 tropical plants and flowers. Sunken Gardens provides garden tours, horticultural programs, special events, field trips, weddings, private or corporate rentals, and much more. Call 727-551-3102 for more information. That's 727-551-3102. Sunken Gardens, 1825 4th Street North, right in the heart of Old Northeast St. Petersburg. Call 727-551-3102.
Don't turn it off now. You need this stuff. Tampa Bay's Tan Talk Radio Network.
Hey, welcome back, business leaders, and those who will be soon. We do this show to build our community's economic engine, which is you, the small business owner. You're part of the Focal Point radio show on Tan Talk 1340, and I'm Gil Pinney, your Focal Point business coach, and I'm here with Jamie Limbaugh from IQ Brand Media. Please give us a call at 441-3000 or send us a tweet at PinneyG. Well, prior to the break, we were talking with Jamie, and Jamie was telling us about the old-fashioned way, which was in the olden days, they just had an idea to print something and put it together, and they printed it, whether it was a brochure or whether it was a business card. Well, now it's not done the same way. So you want to continue to elaborate on that, Jamie?
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously a lot of the world's gone internet, and so companies have the ability now, instead of just having a sign outside, of course, they have this ongoing in-depth sign on the internet that gives gobs and gobs of information, as much as you want to get in most cases. So the printing material has become as a tool to lead the clients to there, because most companies have a website that provides all the information needed and again, the ability to buy, which is the final call to action. So when we developed their brand, all the material is meant to never have a dead end. The content never has a dead end. So the business card is obviously for contact and to get a hold of them, and tells a little bit about the business, but not too much detail. I like to say that no marketing piece should, unless it's a menu, of course, or something like that, a point of sale, it shouldn't lead them to a yes or no. It should lead them to more questions with interest, so that it finally leads them to that point of purchase. And we typically work better as a company with the business owner that actually has a story. You know, how did they get where they're going? If they wound up where they are, can we build a brand around that? Yeah, but it's not as appealing or as fun as putting it together for somebody who's had some real success and they have a real good story behind that about why their company does what they do, because that speaks volumes to the target market, of course. When they start getting into that material and everything's the same and precise and they see what they want to see, it makes it very easy for them to react and get what they want.
Very good. Very good. You've touched a little bit on it, but why is it so important for all the branded materials, both print and the website, to match and convey the same message? Not necessarily the same way, but the same message.
Because everybody makes a decision pretty quickly these days, and if they get confused, they turn their head. They go a different direction. So they have to know exactly what to do very quickly. And so depending on how you meet them, obviously, if you're in a networking atmosphere, you're going to hand them a business card, and they're going to have to do some follow-up, go to your website, this, that, and the other. But when they get to that final point of the sales process, it has to tell them exactly what to do very precisely, or they just won't do anything.
Okay. I guess what you're saying rings true for me. Like if somebody hands me a business card and it's orange and green, and then I go to their website and it's yellow and black, you always wonder, well, is this the same company? Or if the font's totally different, if one's italic and the one you see on the business card is not, and you kind of wonder, well, do they really have their what together?
And as a coach, you see opportunity there. So, of course, you dig in a little deeper. But as a prospect, you would just turn your head and go a different direction. You would assume they may, like you said, maybe you have the wrong company. I remember I went to a bridal show, and a gentleman, he had a free business card. I almost said the name, but he had a free business card. And so I said, okay, and I stuck it in the bag because I was just there as a spectator. And I went across the show, if you will, and the guy was a DJ. There was another DJ that was a woman, had the same free card, same brand look. So as I went to leave the show, I wound up doing business with the first DJ that I met because I said, "This is you, right?" He said, "Yes." And so you're Jill. No. So I was able to approach him and show him. How was I going to know which was which if I'd assumed it was the same card? Which one am I going to throw away when I get home? So there was no brand power to those business cards. So one of them was going to get tossed because that's how I am when I go through. If I think I have two of the same something, one's getting tossed because I had no vested reason to go any further with that. So that's some of the damage can be done if you don't have not only a precise brand but your own, your own individual brand that separates you from other people that might think they do the same that what you do.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, to reinforce your point, that is something that friends I know that are looking for a job, they have to brand themselves. They need a business card to match the resume, and the same full package as though you're putting a company out there for somebody to look at and hopefully hire. It's really amazing. How often should a company look at updating their brand? You and I, before the show, we were talking a little bit about Coke and Pepsi, and Coke's brand image has really stayed pretty same with their floating stripes or whatever you want to call them, and Pepsi's has gone in many different directions over the same period of time, and your response was very good. Coke's still number one, Pepsi's still number two, but they haven't switched spots. But what frequency do you need to change a brand, if at all?
Yeah, I think what hurt Coke most, because they've switched their brand quite a bit, but they do it subtly, so you don't realize that they're changing it so much. But they have changed it, and I don't think it was a brand that hurt them as much as when they changed the formula. They changed the flavor in the brand, so people reacted to it. Well, they might not have if they wouldn't have changed in the brand. They wouldn't have announced it. People might not even have noticed, because sometimes you give somebody a Pepsi and they won't notice it's not a Coke. But as often as they should do it really depends on them. One, if the morale of the company's down or something like that, they could use a rebrand to get the employment excited. I know a very wealthy person who was successful in doing that. He branded knowledge about his crusade to success with his staff. He developed something he called All for One, One for All, and it was a verbal internal brand. And he said it's a sense of power when you're making seven figures, and you walk past somebody that you're paying $30,000. He holds his fist up and pumps it, says All for One. that's some good branding.
Was this the founder of Candy Bar?
No. He was somebody who his company was worth about $700 million. He sold it for $1.4 billion.
I thought it was the Three Musketeers Candy Bar.
That would have been good. But honestly, it depends on their clientele and what it is that the company does. So there's no real straight answer for that one, but it's as often as needed. And some should never touch the brand. I mean, some do it so well out of the gate and it becomes so recognized and such a, like Target would never change that red dot because we know what it is. McDonald's should never change those arches. We know what that's all about. I mean, so some companies get it so ingrained in there that you don't change it, and some, if it gets stale, if your sales are down or low, and you think that maybe the competitors are coming in and their brand is more exciting, more new, so it's just something you want to take a look at if there's an issue. But if it isn't broken, don't fix it.
Well, as a branding person, if you see either a logo or a branding message that if the owner says, well, our sales are flat, and you look at what they've done, how do you know that when you're going to change it may help? How do you direct that? Is this part of the conversation that you had when you designed the first logo? It's time to change the logo or update the logo because they're not meeting the new market that they're after, or the market has changed?
It's usually not the logo. If we redo brand, if sometimes a logo, like you see the Buccaneers, we're changing our brand, and I don't know if you noticed, but I didn't notice much different about it. It's very subtle. But usually companies do those subtle brand image changes when they do heavy content changes, because really if the message is getting out there wrong, it could be a change of images, but usually it's the content. So the images attract attention to the content. The content is what actually makes something happen. And as little or as much as that is needed is depending on what is the behavioral style of the target market you're going after.
Okay.
Some react to a very small amount. You're very well astute on this, but some react to a very small amount of information that's very to the point, and some need more information to make a decision. So it depends on what it is that you're selling.
Oh, Buccaneers did make a good choice when they switched their main logo from Bucko Bruce to the Pirate.
My bad meant just last in the 2 years. They rebranded the new brand.
Flag,
yeah. That's it. They just went a little bigger with the flag, but everybody was expecting this whole brand new brand. And it just came out, and it was pretty much unnoticeable.
Okay. We'll move on from my little tidbits there. Do most business owners look at their website frequently enough, at least monthly, in your opinion? And what are your recommendations to manage the web, Facebook, or maybe LinkedIn? And how do businesses get the most for their money with their website's presence? And we'll talk for about a minute, and then we'll have to go to break.
I have never met a business owner, including myself, that looks at all the facets of their business often enough and with the right eye. In other words, you have to have somebody from the outside looking in order to help you. So you have to give somebody else, an outside mentor, somebody the information so that they can take a look at it. Because even when you look at it, like if I write something, I think it's perfect. So if I look at it and edit it, it's perfect. Somebody else might look at it and go, did you see this typo? Did you see this? No, I didn't see that. I wrote it. It's perfect. So you always have to have that second eye, if you will, that person that can help you and remind you, hey, it's time to take a look at this. So I don't think any of them actually do it effectively on their own unless they have some outside help.
Very good. Well, we're going to wrap this portion of the segment up, but I think that's really good information to either, if you have time or make time, to look at your Facebook message, your website. Those are important things for us to do on not necessarily a daily basis, but once a month, and then have your kids look at it. It's on your mobile device now when you're sitting waiting for something to happen, either at a ball game or something. Call your own website up and look at it, or your own Facebook account, to make sure that things are where they need to be and you're getting that call to action that you want. So we'll go to break now, and we'll be back in just a few minutes.
We got a song? We got a song? Do we have a turntable?
Hey, everybody, this is Andy Powell, guitarist, Wishbone Ash, and you are listening to Nostalgic Radio and Cars.
Okay, but it's not a reel-to-reel, though, right?
It's Nostalgic Radio and Cars every Tuesday night from 7 until 8.
We're doing vinyl tonight.
And one of my favorite pinball machines was Aces and Kings. It was a Williams machine. 40 years later, I found that machine.
Don't wait 40 years to find out about Nostalgic Radio and Cars. It's on Tuesday night from 7 until 8.
Here on Tan Talk.
Tune in to the book club with John Austin.
Well, I actually taught public speaking, as you probably know, in college for 7-8 years.
You could ask the questions and answer them yourself. I could just sit here.
You ask terrific questions, you listen, and it's just a joy to work with you.
Well,
we should go on the road, you know?
Right, well, I'd be happy to. And
you may not be able to go on the road, but don't worry, we bring the book club to you every Tuesday at noon, right here on the Tan Talk Radio Network.
If you would like to become a wholesale buyer of the premium quality longevity products you hear about right here on the Tan Talk Radio Network for personal service, you can call Pete Greenway at 501-538-3160. That's Pete Greenway at 501-538-3160. And remember to tell him Lola sent you. Or you can go online at tantalkhealth.com. That's tantalkhealth.com. Here's to your health and longevity. Some people don't believe in mermaids. Hope that's not you, because they exist at Weeki Wachee Springs State Park off US 19 and State Road 50, just north of Spring Hill. Since 1947, the magic of the mermaids have been entertaining visitors at the 538-acre Springs Park. Come and watch in the 400-seat submerged theater, the Little Mermaid Show at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. daily. Weeki Wachee State Park offers mermaid shows, reptile shows, boat tours, and swimming in the pristine spring at Buccaneer Bay. Weeki Wachee State Park is a perfect backdrop for wedding receptions, birthday parties, picnics, meetings, retreats, family reunions, or just to relax on the white sandy beach. Step back in time when things were much simpler and enjoyable. Spend the day at an original theme park. Call 352-592-5656 or log on to wikiwachee.com for upcoming events, hours, and ticket pricing. Weeki Wachee Springs State Park, where mermaids do exist.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Hey, welcome back. Business leaders and those who will be in the near future, let's hope. We do this show to build our community's economic engine, and that's you, the small business owner. You're part of the Focal Point radio show on Tan Talk 1340. I'm Gil Pinney, your Focal Point business coach, and I'm here with Jamie Limbaugh from IQ Brand Media. His phone number is 888-815-0524, extension 203, or you can email him at Jamie, which is Jamie, at iqbrandmedia.com. And if you'd like to get some immediate answers, send us a tweet at PinneyG. Okay, prior to the break, we were talking about how it's really good if you look with a new eye at your website and or your Facebook page to make sure it remains up to date. It's fairly easy to do. All you do is look at your phone, and that also tells you one more thing. If you look at your website on your phone and not just your Facebook page, to make sure it's compatible with your phone, because most people now are using their phone more than they are a computer. My next question to Jamie is one of these code words. What is EDDM? I hear that out in the field all the time. I'm sure most business owners have had their doors knocked down to find out about that. So fill us in as to what that is and what that means to us.
Well, like I said, we started out as a printing company, so one of the avenues that we help people market with is with print material, and direct mail is one of those things, and you've heard of bulk mail. Bulk mail isn't what a lot of people think it is. There are discounts based on volume, but most of discounts in mailing and postage is based on how much work you do for the post office. So with EDDM, that is a very particular program they came up with a few years ago, which lowered the postage based on the client doing all of the work. How it was originally supposed to work is, let's just say the average business person, they have a pizza place, they want to mail the area, they go to the post office, they find out how much it costs, and they go get their postcards, they do all the drops together, they got to do everything manually, just hand it to the post office and it gets distributed. So we as a company developed a system where we do all that for the client. We set up the paperwork, set up the drops, set up everything. So all they have to do really is pay for it and tell us what it is that they're trying to accomplish. It's become a great tool for real estate agents as a listing tool. We have a lot of agents, every time they sell a property, they nail an area.
Let me just tell the listeners what EDDM stands for. It's
I'm
part
sorry.
of your vernacular. It's Every Door Direct Mail. So now we can move forward now that everybody knows that EDDM is Every Door Direct Mail. So
I should have mentioned that starting out,
No,
and they call it that for that reason. It's not. It goes by routes. It's not something where it's addressed and sent specifically to a person. It goes on every door in the route, and then obviously the traditional direct mail would be where it is addressed, and we use lists and things like that. It's slower moving mail, and it's also a little bit more costly. So if you're saturating mail or saturation meaning broad area around you, around a location or a specific area, then EDDM is the way to go with that. And then in comparison to the direct mail, where that is still great, if you're targeting like a very specific business person or type, then you want to go regular bulk mail.
Very good. So tell us about what's been your largest or most successful campaign that you've done so far. Let's say so far, because you've got bigger ones on the horizon, I'm sure.
Absolutely. One that we're very proud to be a part of is there's a company in St. Pete. It started out in St. Pete as American Strategic Insurance. They're an insurance underwriter. And when I started doing business with them, they were in 4 or 5 states. Now they're in, I think, close to 30 states, between 27 and 30. But they're known as the battery company. The reason being is they mail out 9-volt batteries to all their policyholders, either 2 or 4, depending on the square footage of their home. So we mail out those batteries. I think this year it's up to about 600,000 or so units. How many batteries that equates to, I don't know. But we do that whole mail campaign for them, and it's the batteries to replace the smoke detectors in their smoke alarm. So this campaign actually saved some lives, and we're happy that we saved them a lot of money. And one of the local facilities named Park, they put handicapped people to work that normally wouldn't have much of a life, and we give them all that work. They do all of our direct mail fulfillment of any kind. We send all that over to them.
Yeah, very good, very good. How has that grown from the beginning? You said it's grown to 30 states, and it's now a lot larger. Has Park, which is a great organization. For those that you don't know, it helps teenage and older adults with disabilities able to provide themselves with a purposeful work. It's generally very rewarding work, and they they have more value to themselves and to the community, and it's a great program. I've used Park before in businesses that I've dealt with. If you can do a donation, please do. Or if you have business and think that there's an opportunity that you could have someone do a fairly repetitive job, it's a great place as long as you got written work instructions. From what I remember, it's a great place to investigate. But anyway, about the growth of the business, have they been able to handle that growth? Have you had to look at additional sources of supply?
Well, they can handle it. I wouldn't say they couldn't handle it, but when you're giving, you want to spread the wealth as much as possible. And there is another organization locally, which is called Louise Graham, who is a woman who started out helping one guy keep busy in her garage. And neighbors said, "Hey, can you do this? Can you do that?" Next thing you know, she needed more than the one guy, and it's developed into a huge non-for-profit, which is very similar to Park in its mission and just helping others. And so we're happy to give that. It's branched off. ASI has a sister company, Arc Royal, which that portion of that job goes to them now to help them as well.
Very good. Great job dealing with helping the community. So, in your business, usually this is one of the earlier questions that I ask, but I like to talk about the branding side first. You have to find customers, and developing leads and getting leads, particularly for the branding side and the printing side. You got people like Vistaprint. You got the Vistaprint knockoffs on the internet now, to where you really don't personalize your message. You take basically a canned logo and drop it on a business card or onto a piece of promotional material, and you do all the work, they do the printing and send it to you. So how do you get your message out to the local business community that A, you're here, and B, develop that relationship so that you win that business instead of they get lazy and go to Vistaprint?
That's a great question, because I personally, if the business that we get through marketing, my office deals with that. So myself, I get my business for the company through networking. I have a huge passion for it. And when I say networking, I mean what people call leads groups and all the different, various names that they have. I've spent the last 10 years networking and developed my skills very well that it gets real easy. When you know what you're doing in networking. So some of our offers where we offer free graphic design for printing once you have an established brand. So with free graphic design and free delivery, if I just throw that out on a flyer, that seems too good to be true. So, but when somebody like yourself or one of my referral partners, they explain that to somebody and it's from a point of trust already, then they get it. So networking is pretty much how I bring in all the business that I bring into the company.
Well, that's good. What specific tricks? Because we've talked on the show a few times about networking, and since you're a friend of mine and a networking partner of mine, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you, and I'll use the funny word, work the room when you go into a networking event, either over at, I'll say BBO's events, they have some very large events, or a large B&I function where they have several hundred people. What is your keys? How do you prepare for that in advance, and how do you work that room?
That's what I was thinking. Is most of the work is done before you go. So obviously, you want to make sure that you're prepared, and you don't stink, and all those fun things. You're going to be around people, so your self-image is most important, and then make sure you have the tools that you need, your business cards, and something to write with, and that you know where you're headed and what time it starts, and all this, just tons of research about where you're going to go network. You don't just blindly go roaming into a room full of people, because that can do more damage than good. And then set some goals, like understanding who do I want to meet when I go there? Am I going there to prospect, which is seldom the truth, or am I going there to find people who can become network partners, say contact spheres, or people who are looking for the same person I'm looking for but not doing the same thing? And then have a goal in mind so that when you go in there, the work, when the work is done. You're not just spending from, if the event, I heard you say something about an event earlier, they don't say you have to go there at 7, it's 12 hours, where some people would roam around there for 12 hours. If they didn't think they did it right. Or I might spend an hour in that place. If I meet my goals, I'm done. Then I can either have fun or leave.
Right. Now that's, again, you're reinforcing what we've spoken about before. Have your goals going in, either who you're going to meet. And in many networking events, it's hard to know exactly who's going to be there, except in many cases you'll see who is going to be a vendor there. And when you see who those vendors are, they may become your primary target, because, as you said so succinctly, they may become a partner for referrals. And so those are the people, in my case, that I target them, because I get to look to see who they are ahead of time, and then know that they can help me. And then when you have the discussion, you confirm that or deny it, but you get their card and thank them afterwards and generate that high level of professionalism.
One of the tricks, like you asked, would be a tag team partner.
Yes.
For somebody else to talk to somebody else in a room full of people about you is so much more powerful than you trying to talk about yourself or even think about yourself. So one of the people I love to take to events is Jason Sully-Savat. He owns Jesse's Restaurant over on 66th Street, and he's really, really good about striking up a conversation about me. My hat's off to him when it comes to that, and vice versa. Obviously, it's either whether it be him or Tony over at Capo de Monte's. It's not hard to send somebody where great food is, but what I'm talking to is a little more in depth, and he's real good at striking up that conversation. He just waves me over, and I know that that conversation's already at a degree of 10, before I even get over there.
Yeah, that's a great concept. That having a tag team partner. As you said, you can do two things with that. First is the other guy can talk about you, but then you can also have that person, if you meet somebody, have somebody go, that person can go and ask, oh, did you talk to Jamie? Oh, yeah, he really doesn't have anything I need. He's a nice guy, but I don't know that I'd do business with him. So you can refine your discussion a little bit better to make sure that your message is being heard the way you want it heard. And that's the best part about bringing a tab team partner. Well, it's that time again, folks. It's time for another break, and we'll do that here right now. Thank you.
At the Oaks of Clearwater, you'll enjoy a lifestyle to fit your needs. From independent living, assisted living, memory care, and skilled nursing. Our exciting independent lifestyle is the perfect combination of freedom, comfort, and security. Enjoy total independence with peace of mind. Our independent lifestyle includes chef-prepared meals in our beautiful waterfront dining room, a continental breakfast, all utilities, including cable and telephone, housekeeping with linen service, scheduled transportation, including trips for shopping, local restaurants, theater, and more. Our activities program is second to none. At the Oaks of Clearwater, you'll enjoy affordable luxury waterfront senior living with $1 million view. Call today, 727-445-4069, and discover where caring, compassionate service really makes the difference.
Did you know there's a sprawling botanical paradise right in your own backyard? Come visit Sunken Gardens. Located at 1825 4th Street North, it's St. Petersburg's oldest living museum. This 100-year-old garden is home to some of the oldest tropical plants in the region. Unwind as you stroll through meandering paths, lush with exotic plants from around the world. Explore cascading waterfalls, beautiful demonstration gardens, and more than 50,000 tropical plants and flowers. Sunken Gardens provides garden tours, horticultural programs, special events, field trips, weddings, private or corporate rentals, and much more. Call 727-551-3102 for more information. That's 727-551-3102. Sunken Gardens, 1825 4th Street North, right in the heart of Old Northeast St. Petersburg. Call 727-551-3102.
Do you have questions about relationships, sex, or both? Or are you just interested in these topics? Then we've got just the show for you. Intimate Chats with the Lovebirds is a relationship and sex talk show with me, Dr. Chuck Bird, and my wife, Dr. Joanne Bird. We are both board-certified clinical sexologists, relationship experts known as the Lovebirds, due to our last name and the work that we do. Listen to Intimate Chats with the Lovebirds every Friday night at 6 p.m., right here on the Tan Talk Radio Network. Also, watch and listen to us online at IntimateChatShow.com.
Imus in the morning.
Hulk Hogan talking to Hulk about that new sex tape.
Yeah. What are you laughing at?
Hulk Hogan's got a sex tape. Oh, yeah. And it's ugly, too. I think it's my boy Bubba the Love Sponge's ex-wife.
Oh, okay. Well,
you ever heard Bubba the Love Sponge?
These things happen. Have I heard of him? But
No, he's great. Yeah. My favorite talk show host is Bubba the Love Sponge.
Catch Imus in the morning right here on the stations of the Tan Talk Network. This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Hey, welcome back, business owners and those who will be shortly. We do this show to build our community's economic engine, and that's you, the small business owner. You're part of the Focal Point radio show on Tan Talk 1340, and I'm Gil Pinney, your Focal Point business coach. And I'm here with Jamie Limbaugh from IQ Brand Media. I'll give you his email address one more time in case you've got any questions you'd like to direct to him or you want him to design some graphics for you. It's free graphic design if you order enough. It's Jamie, Jamie, at iqbrandmedia.com. Or please send me a tweet at PinneyG. So we're moving very quickly through our show today, which is really fun. There's still lots to do. But I'm going to talk about what I do as a business coach. And remember that you always can call me, and you can call me at 727-537-9680. That's my personal line. and I'm always available for a free consultation. If you have any uncertainty about the direction of your business, give me a call and let's talk. There's no cost to you, and I get the benefit of learning about you and your business. It's a true win-win for both of us, and so please either give me a call at the number I just gave or send me an email at gilpinney@yahoo.com. I will promise I'll serve you well, and as I said, we have a money-back guarantee for a coach. You work with us for 3 months. If you don't like it, the third month is free, and you've only paid for 2 months, and hopefully you've gotten that back on your return on investment by the things that we improve in your operation. So it fits any budget coaching does, and I do one-on-one coaching. We do group coaching, as I said at the beginning. We start a new group coaching session on September 29th. This is an opportunity to have a coach in a group setting. You get to put together a mastermind group. You'll receive a DISC assessment, absolutely free as part of this. You'll gain business clarity. You'll develop a personal strategic plan. We'll do competitive and customer analysis, and we'll identify the critical constraints for your business. So please, either send me an email or go to Eventbrite under Transform Your Business and sign up. I'd really like to meet you, and I'd really like to have you be part of that, because I'd like to make sure that you have as strong a 2015 and to set up for 2016 and be the strong company that you deserve. So what else do I have going on? We have workshops that we put on. These are one-day workshops or 4-hour workshops, depending on your need, that generate revenue growth. They're around goal setting, time management, strategic planning, team building. Again, just contact me at my phone number or by email. I also do subject matter talks for organizations. I do a lot with either the quality organization, engineering organizations, and basically plant management organizations, and then also some retail operations. Those who email me will have a 30-minute phone conversation once you send me that note. And again, it's no risk to you. And just think about how good you'll feel when you get better results from your business. It'll be just like hitting that home run that you did when you were a kid, and remember that feeling inside you. So we'll move back to my friend Jamie, and we'll talk a little more and get his thoughts as to what key points that he'd like to make sure that you remember and I remember. So with that, Jamie, let me know what you feel, what we should make sure everybody leaves with today that they should make sure that they remember.
Make sure that not only you know the story of your company, but that you want your companies to know, your clients to know the story of your company, and you want them to know it by heart. So if they were asked about your company, they should have something great to say about it. And if not, you should be asking them before anybody else does.
Okay, very good. We have a few minutes left, so now that we've talked everything through, we've talked about networking, and we could do a little more talking about networking if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
It's we're both part of BNI, which is working out well for the two of us. There are other formats out there. Have you tried any of those other formats?
That is a great question. Yes, I have, and I would say that, and I'll be as bold to say this, I'm expert enough in networking to say that I tried every structure you can think of or lack thereof, to no structure to the BNI structure, which most people say is intense, and it is. It's intense because it gets intense results. Some people say, well, that's hardcore. I say, well, we have a rolling total of $3.8 million or $2.8 million right now, and that's hardcore. I mean, that's us accomplishing a lot together. The attendance policy, which a lot of people, make mockery of in BNI, they say you have to be there. And that's not the way the referral partners see it. They don't see it as you have to be there. They see it as, it's you need to be there. You need to be seen. You need to be visible. So I could say this, that when I networked I've been in BNI now for 3 years, and I've networked now for 10 years, there's always seemed to be something missing. I was always a leader everywhere I went. I was a director at F&I. I was president of a group called the Board, which I would say was a mild structure, if you will. And through all those, I just felt like something was missing, and I didn't know what it was. And first time I went into BNI, I realized it's the structure. There was no educational programs in the other networking I did. There was like maybe one crash course or something, but nothing ongoing that would continually show you, almost like following the bouncy ball. If you knew nothing at all about networking and joined BNI, you'd be able to make a success.
I fully agree with what you're talking about. As a coach, of course, you know, the attendance thing is the one thing that people always complain about. But you know what? When you're coaching somebody, guess what? You got to do it. You know, you set the frequency, but if all of a sudden they can't make a session, you can tell their heart's not in it anymore. And with BNI, you got to make sure your heart's in it. You're going there not as much to help yourself. You're going there to help the other members of the organization, and in return, you will get the benefit of helping other people. And that's really, to me, was the differentiator of BNI versus other groups, because other groups, my interface with them, and I'll say even a couple other BNI groups that I went to that didn't match for me personally, they were in it for themselves. They wanted to make the contacts and get referrals rather than give referrals. And BNI, the real thrust is give referrals and things will come back to you tenfold.
Just this morning they were talking about a Referral Institute, which is a sister company of BNI and offers different trainings. One you're familiar with some of its bases, which is the Roomful of Referrals, which uses the DISC assessment and behavioral styles. And then there's the Certified Networker, which is a college-level networking course. Dr. Ivan Meisner has always tried to get networking into college, but it does too well, I guess, to teach anybody how to do it in college. So he made a college-level course, and they asked for a testimony this morning. And it's funny that you talk about the giver's game, because the best testimony I can give was Certified Networker gave me the ability to give back. One of our members, our current president is Jennifer Reynolds, and she's done so much for me over the years. And she represented a certain company that was just difficult to get referrals for me. I just didn't run into her target market. It was just, for whatever reason, I had difficulty. And she switched her seat in the chapter, and it gave me a very good opportunity I was very excited about. And because of what I learned at Certified Networker, I was able to produce her an ongoing referral that produced a lot of money in the six figures, which just nothing feels better than that, to be able to produce that for other people. And it's giver's gain. I mean, it comes back.
Yes, I can attest to that. We've both drunk the Kool-Aid. We are seeing the results. But again, from a coaching standpoint, you mentioned the word structure, and many small business owners, they start off with a structure and kind of drift, and then when they move, hopefully get to a point where, I need more business, and they hear about a BNI and they go to a BNI session or a meeting. All of a sudden, they see that structure, and the successful ones are like you. They go, that's what I've been missing, and carry it back into their business. The less successful people go, oh my God, you got to be here every week? Are you kidding me? I mean, if I'm not here, I got to send in a substitute? Holy cow, what are all these rules? And that's part of the reason why they're less successful than they could be. And frankly, those are also the type of people that you don't really want to coach, because they're not going to give their whole all to the coaching session, or they just want the results, is what I guess I'm trying to say. They don't want to put in the work.
Immediate gratification.
That's very good. Very well said. Well, we only got a few minutes left, folks. Next week, we're going to have, and I hope this comes true, we're going to have Betsy Zach. She's a financial wizard, and that's the way we're going to do it next week, and we look forward to talking to her. Thank you much. Talk to you then.
WTAN, Clearwater, Tampa Bay. WDCF, Dade City, Tampa Bay. WZHR, Zephyr Hills,
Walker
Tampa
to
Bay.
end White House run. Carson urged to call it quits. I'm Jim Ascendio. Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker is expected to drop out of the Republican presidential race when he goes before microphones and cameras this hour. Politics correspondent Dana Bash says Walker failed to poll well in Iowa.
This was a campaign also that focused on Iowa. It was Iowa or bust.
Fellow Republican Ben Carson is being urged to end his run for the White House. The Council on American Islamic Relations says Carson should bow out because he said he wouldn't support a Muslim being president. Nihad Awad is the council's executive director.
Ben Carson is wrong today to assume and say that American Muslim cannot be president of the United States. His views are inconsistent with the United States Constitution.
Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton wants to build upon the Affordable Care Act. The former Secretary of State wants to cap what consumers pay out of pocket for prescription drugs. Fire crews in Northern California making progress, now 30% contained. I'm Jim Ascendio. A former peanut company executive is sentenced to 28 years in prison in connection with a nationwide salmonella outbreak that killed 9 Americans and sickened hundreds more. 61-year-old Stuart Parnell was given what's believed to be the most severe punishment ever handed out to a producer in a foodborne illness case. The salmonella outbreak in 2008 and 2009 triggered a massive food recall. And a federal jury has convicted Harold Henthorne of murder in the death of his wife, Toni, who went off a cliff in Colorado's Rocky Mountain National Park. The defense argued that the woman fell while snapping a photo, while neither confirming nor denying a report that U.S. troops looked the other way when Afghan troops sexually abused young boys. White House Press Secretary Josh Earnest today did say the U.S. is working to end the exploitation of children.
The United States is deeply concerned about the safety and welfare of Afghan boys who may be exploited by members of the Afghan National Security and Defense Forces.
I'm Jim Ascendio.